Brendan Parker joins us from Flames TV from the Saddle Dome. The guys told me that he was ready to go. Is that where you're at? Brendan, are you at the rink today?
Change of plans. We've got a little COVID protocol in the house now, so I'm at home. Unfortunately, this week is going to be probably at home for the next few days.
Gotcha. Weirdest. I'm into you in Florida. We spend a lot of time together. I come to Calgary and I can't see you. But let's talk about that Flames win the other night, 5-1 over the Florida Panthers. They were in control from the drop of the puck. Because you remember in Sunrise, they kind of took their foot off the gas, right, in that game, and the Panthers came back. Yeah. They weren't going to allow that to happen against Florida on Tuesday night. What were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, so true. I mean, thinking back to that game, really that road trip, everyone was kind of fully aware of what those 3 games at the end of that 5-game road trip were going to like, given the fact I had 3 of the top 5 teams at the time, to finish off that road trip. But that game was kind of the start of it. And man, what an entertaining first period that was. I remember, we're sitting up there in the press box and it was edgy. It had, after whistle stuff, entertainment. And then, yeah, absolutely. I think as that game wore on, Florida was able to kind of take control a little bit at different times. Flames had their chances, couldn't bury, but then at the end of the game, when they're trying to be aggressive with comeback, Florida ends up finishing it off. The score looks probably a little bit more lopsided than it was, and a completely, different perspective, their night at the Saddle Dome. And I think, partially it's the Flames not being happy with the way they played and not necessarily on the road trip so much, but probably that home game against Ottawa, you're not happy with A, the result. That's 4 straight losses at that point, but B, just the way that it went down. It kind of felt emotionless. You had 50% fans in the crowd, and it just didn't have any edge to it whatsoever. And then, I think that was a focal point over the last couple of days of practice, and they flipped the switch against the Panthers. And you knew it was first place team in the entire National Hockey League, and I think they prepared for that. And they didn't give them a second to even ease into that hockey game. And I think when you look back earlier in the year when the Flames had a lot of success, it was jumping on teams early, catching them off guard, and then just really grinding them down the rest of the game. And that was textbook from the Flames the other night.
The general is watching in Calgary. He says, I watch Brendan's pregame recaps every game. You're awesome, Brendan. That's from the general. We had a viewer, Chris, wanted us to ask you what you think the Flames need to go on a deep run. And I haven't thought the Flames have needed much for a long time other than between their ears and here. But talent-wise, I feel they've always had it, but I don't know everything. Is this team going to add any pieces here the rest of the way? How do they feel about their chances as a contender?
Well, I think if you ask management, it's always, and it has come up at different times as we get closer to the deadline, it's always going to be, the response is always, we're going to try to look our team better no matter what the situation is. But I think when they're playing like that, they are a force to be reckoned with without a doubt. But when you look at some of the teams that we faced here, when you see, what we've looked at here recently with, Tampa and Florida and Carolina, it's so much depth. So I'm kind of the, and if you look back to past deadlines, they've added, a couple of depth blue liners. I think they're pretty good in that spot right now. You've got a guy like Michael Stone, who's only played 2 games this year, and I think he would be more than adequate to step in whenever, that chance comes. They've been pretty steady with their 6 guys. So you have some guys there. You've got, Yusuf Alamaki, Connor Mackey on the farm. So defensively, I think you do have some bodies, some capable bodies there. But, maybe up front, you're looking for somebody else who can add maybe a bit of a scoring touch or add something else. I think you got guys that can kill penalties. You've got depth forwards. You got guys you can move around there. But, you're always looking to have another piece up front that can really complement what you're trying to do. And I think, as far as the line combinations, we've seen different things. That first line's pretty steady. You've had Lom, Kachuk, and Gaudreau for the most part all season long. But it's, the other 3 lines that have juggled around, trying to find some chemistry. We've seen sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. But I really like that line of Backlund, Coleman, and Andrew Mangiapane the other night against Florida. I thought they were dangerous all game long. So maybe you found something there in a second line that could work. But as far as, if you were going to look to add something, I think you'd love to bring in, another forward piece, if you could. And again, that's easier said than done because, I think there'll be a lot of teams that are going to add some depth pieces, but we know how much of a grind it's going to be. And it's even, less about the playoffs because you got to get there first. It's the way that this schedule now shapes up with the schedule being released yesterday. You had 10 games you had to make up. It's crammed into February. They threw 1 into March. There's 2 more in April. Like, it's going to be a grind to the finish, and the more healthy bodies, more bodies you have who you can move in and out of the lineup if you have to, I think the better off you're going to be.
Well, by the way, it's fun to talk line combinations, and you didn't even mention Johnny and Money, which was a thing that I heard here in Calgary, right? So they love that combination. So honestly, I think the Flames are good enough. They just have to keep the pedal to the metal for 60 minutes, and we all know that, and you know that, and Daryl knows that. What was the reaction to the Flames being asked to play 7 games in 12 days here on this refigured schedule?
Yeah, I think everybody sort of knew it was coming. I think it was just a matter of where the pieces would fit. But now, you take a look at it, you got, that what was a 3-week or close to 3-week Olympic break off. Those vacation plans and travel plans have obviously changed now. And I think everybody sort of knew what was coming. It was just a matter of how it would all unroll. So, I think the fact there's 2 more back-to-backs in February, and for the most part, it's, you still get your Olympic break. So there's still, maybe 4 or 5 days off just after they play their last game in Arizona at the beginning of February. So, take advantage of that while you can. But I think more than anything, it's hard to get too wrapped up in what's coming, because this team now just wants to play games. Like, they're desperate for some kind of rhythm right now. And I think I was just looking at it, I think prior to last game, it was 2 games in 11 days. So by the time they get into Edmonton, it'll be 3 games in 15 days. That's just, it's not steady enough. And the Oilers, I know, are going through the same thing, but you just want to play some games. So for this team, the rest of the way now, you kind of look at it, they're going to be busy. It basically equates to 1 game every second day. So, I think it goes without saying they knew exactly it was busy. It was a matter of where the games were going to slot and who they were going to be against. But now you can see what it is. You can go to your schedule now. You know exactly what you're in for. Not unexpected, but it's going to be heavy the rest of the way for sure.
Brendan, I've been in this town since Saturday, and every single day I've heard about the Flames and Oilers Saturday night, and you just brought it up. That rivalry is something very special, isn't it? Unbelievable.
Sure. It's great. It's great. And you know what? And it all kind of goes back to a few years ago. And, I think there's been some cooler moments. Last year was tough. They played each other a ton. No fans in the building. Probably have the same edge to it that we had seen the year prior to that. I think it's kind of getting back to that, though. And I think, given where these 2 teams are at right now, I mean, Roddy, there's a lot on Saturday. Like, you take a look at, the fact that we're not even halfway point of the season. Normally we would, right? Normally we'd be over a halfway point. So this would be big no matter what. But just given where they're at, I mean, I think you can feel the temperature up in Edmonton. The Flames now coming off that win, so they're kind of feeling better about their game. I can't wait.
Brendan, why are you so pissy?
Hey, I'm smiling. I'm smiling.
I know. Hey, last one. Do we see
I've loved
a new rink?
Though. There's been some good memes.
Oh, they've been so good, so good. Do we see a new rink in Calgary by the time you and I, in our lifetimes?
I mean, the only answer I can give to that is, yeah, I think it has to happen. I know it's been up and down. I feel like it's kind of set and ready, and then it changes. I mean, at the end of the day, the Saddle Dome can only exist for so long. It's been 40 years. I mean, I think we find a way at some point in this city to come together and get it done. I think there's an appetite on all sides. Maybe it gets a little bit heated at times, the exchanges, and there is a lot of money on the line. I understand it. I completely understand it. But at some point, I think the sides will figure it out. I think it just has to happen because, the city needs it. Obviously the team needs it, but, it's going to be a big fixture in the area that they're looking at. So, I think one way or another, we find a way to get this thing done, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later. It's time.
I love it. I love the positive outlook. Brendan, thanks for this, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Roddy, and enjoy Calgary, and hopefully we get to see you in person.
You, bud.
And maybe fill those seats.
Absolutely.
You went through it, sir.
We will. Saskatoon product, Brendan Parker of Flames Tea joining today for Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.